What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys have seen the last video, we did a tool review on the max fitting rod pipe expander kit right there. I mean, I read the comments. A lot of people are saying that these ones usually break, and I must tell you, like, after using it a few times, I feel like it's gonna break. But as long as it does what I needed to do, just expand the pipe to, you know, make it fit without a huge gap, that's all I really need it for. And if it does that job, you know, it does its job. So I've been chilling in my room, and I can't stand being in my room. I just feel like I need to be in the garage. So I figured I'd come into the garage here today to do a job for a buddy of mine, I believe his uncle. If you guys don't know who Higgins Built is, he has this badass EF9, and they came to me a couple weeks ago, or prior to my accident, to drop off a harness right here to do a dual point to multi-point conversion for an EF sedan. And obviously this happened, and I haven't touched it in the last 2 weeks, so I want to get that back to its owner. And I figured, since I'm sitting in my room all day anyways, I'll come sit here in the garage and just tinker with that harness, get that all buttoned up and return. So I'm just going to grab one of my big tables, stick it right here somewhere, get my chair, elevate my angle, and get down and work. I keep thinking my razor blade's in my pocket, but it's not. So I'm gonna have to use this safety. Well, it's not a safety because it's got a really sharp tip on it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strip this harness down, and by the looks of it, it's not missing plugs, which is very rare from the junkyard. This was scored from the junkyard, and this is a DX dual point meaning there are 2 injectors instead of 4 right there. And this was scored from the junkyard, and like I said, surprisingly nothing is cut. Now this is a unicorn harness because, you know, most of the time they cut everything to pull the parts that they need, and it makes it a hassle to, you know, have to rewire everything. But I mean, it's not a big deal even if it was missing plugs. Now this harness, like I said, we're going to be converting it to multi-point fuel injection. I'm going to put 2 more injectors in here. Now we're adding 2 because there are already 2 here, and this already like runs through the harness, through the cabin harness, then goes to the ECU. So the other 2, we have to pin it manually into the slots on the A plug, and we're going to have to switch the TPS and add in 2 more crank wires. If you look right here, this is a 6-pin connector. It only has 5 wires, and we need to add 2 more, which is blue, yellow, blue, green, to make it a 7-pin wire, which then requires a different plug, which I'll show you guys when we get there. But first, let's strip it down. All right, guys, so we got the harness all stripped from the old electrical tape. This pile right here, look at that. I mean, some of it came from that donor harness down there, but we have it all stripped out, and mostly stripped out on the areas that we're gonna be tucking wires into. So all of this right here I didn't touch because we don't need to touch any of this, but the distributor side is all unloomed, the body's unloomed, the main part right here is unloomed, so on and so forth. So that's a donor harness. Now you need a couple plugs to make this multi-point injection harness conversion. And obviously when you're going multi-point, you're going from 2 injectors to 4. So you need a harness that has 4 injector plugs. So typically you can go to the junkyard. If you're going OBD1, you can use like the 94 Plus Integra. If you want to keep it OBD0, you can use the CRX EFSI or the DA9091. But you need a donor harness that has 4 of those injectors, and you need a distributor plug to accommodate the 2 extra crank wires we are swapping in. So if you look, dual point only has this 6-pin connector which has 5 wires in it, and I had to rob this plug from my other SI harness complete. I'm actually going to be keeping that for a future project if I have a future project that needs it. But I robbed this plug off, and I couldn't get this one because this was converted OBD1. This is staying OBD0 into an OBD0 car, so I need the OBD0 plug, which are typically white. So I got that. I have my 4 injector harness right here with the resistor wires to the resistor plug, and I believe he said he had a resistor box, so that's going to be plugging into that green plug right there. And I have a little disconnect plug harness right here, and the reason why I have this is because most people who do multi-point conversion, when they finish all of the wiring that come up to the passenger side tower, it's a bunch of fray of wires that, you know, you just added into the harness that just kind of dangles out. And most people, they just leave it dangled out, or it's extended long enough to where it goes all the way to the ECU. I like to make mine disconnectable. Disconnectable, is that even a word? I like to make my harness 100% disconnects, just in case the engine comes out for like a B swap or whatever the case is. It makes it convenient. So I have that plug there, and because I robbed this plug off of that harness, this plug actually has the 2 crank wires already in it. You can see blue yellow and blue green, and this is going to go all the way to the distributor plug right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just route the harness through, and I'll explain it again. I'll try to put the link in the description below. I have a bunch of videos on dual point to multi-point conversions that I've done over the years, and I've explained them step by step thoroughly, so check the link in the description below. I'm just gonna loom it in, explain it. That's kind of how I like to do it nowadays, you know, talk a little bit, and then I show a little visuals just so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and then we'll wrap it all up. But like I said, let's get that injector harness in here. Got the loom taken off on this end. Now take note, on a dual point harness, this green and brown plug, they are identical. These are your injector 1 and injector 2 with resistor wires coming out of it. Okay, this is your injector. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a wire that we're no longer needing when going to multi-point, which is this one right here. I don't know what the sensor is called on the dual point, but we don't need this when you go multi-point. So I'm just going to pull it right out of the harness and get that out of the way. Black, yellow, orange. I'm going to depin that. Now that that's out of the harness, you can actually keep this, which I normally do. I keep this to use the plug for in case of broken plug later down the road, or, you know, extending the fan from an OBD0 harness, which is right here, to the thermostat all the way over here, and it uses this style plug. So I keep this around for stuff like that. If I need it, you know, it'll be there. But that's out, and again, I'm gonna go ahead and get the injector in place, which typically I should have shown you guys this. So all these wires are bundled up right here. I mean, you'll see if you're doing this yourself. From this driver's side plug, you're going to get to this bundle of wires right here. Typically, this is where the injector, the 4 injector harness sits at, because this point right here normally sits around the driver's side intake manifold, and then the injectors start like right there, like literally right next to this joint. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna put the injector harness right there, zip it in place, and then we'll continue with all of these other guys. So I got the injector in place. I'm missing one clip, but I'm probably gonna yank it off that harness as well too. So I got the injector harness in place. Now, according to the diagram, a lot of people say that the Angel Fire is not accurate. I've been using the Angel Fire dual point to multi-point injection write-up for the last I don't know how many years, and it's worked every single time. So according to the Angel Fire instructions, it says the dual point harness yellow wire for the injector, number 1 goes to brown, which I have right here. And if you guys don't know, the firing order for the color wire is brown, red, blue, yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crank, distributor. So yellow goes to brown, and injector number 2 for dual point, red goes to injector number 3, which is blue, which I have right here. So that has to be soldered in. I'm going to do that. You can see these two are routed this way because the injectors for the dual point is already on this end, which in theory the dual point cabin harness already has the injector wires going from the cabin harness all the way to the ECU. Sorry, there's nothing for you to see here, but you know what I mean. The other two wires you have to add in yourself, which is injector number 2 and 4, is the red and the yellow right here. Okay, now again, you can check out the other videos for a more thorough explanation, which is a longer video, or you can check out the Angel Fire to understand what I'm talking about. The yellow and the red is the number 2 and number 4, and you can see I routed it this way, right, through the harness instead of routing it through the driver's side and then putting longer, you know, extensions all the way to the ECU. So this is going to go across the harness to the passenger side into 2 of these slots. So 2 of them is going to be for injectors, and then 2 of these, the blue ones, are going to be for distributor, and I'll explain that in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and just route these guys through the loom, these 2 and the dual point wires soldered together, and then I'm going to show you guys the yellow resistor wires. You can see the Iat sensor is right here jointed in with the junction, because the Iat is typically in front of like injector number 1 and 2 for the OBD0 SI manifolds, and yeah, that's zipped into place, so that way I know to loom it up right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that quick. Don't want to confuse you guys with a lot of talking and jabbering and blabbering. I'm gonna solder that real quick. Injectors are spliced in. We got the yellow to brown and red to blue, shrink tubed in place. Got the resistor wires, all of it routing all the way to the plug here, and electrical tape in the place. So now what you do with the yellow black wire, that's the resistor wires for the injector 1 and 2 on the dual point. What you do is on the resistor plug, which you just added in, has this one single wire, right? What you could do is, I'm not sure if it's the same pin, but what you can do is you can either take these 2 yellow black, cut them, and then take these 2 and tie it into this single wire, solder it up, and that'll be that. The other thing you could do is both of these yellow black do the same thing. I believe it powers the injector, which in this case it powers a resistor box for injectors that need a resistor box. What you can do is you can take out both of these and then plug in this yellow black into one of those slots, so that way it can get its power source. So I think what I'm going to do is, because we have enough length, I'm just going to de-pin both of these, eliminate them, and then plug this one into place. That side is done. So moving on to this junction again, we have the 2 other injectors that we need to wire into the plug right here, right? But before we get to this, because we're at this junction right now, Iat sensor in place. The TPS sensor is not going to be sitting in this location anymore, and we're going to have to move the TPS 3 wire. We're going to have to kind of splice it through and probably put it right at this junction. And I believe the TPS sensor, the oleum length, should be long enough to get to the intake manifold where the TPS sensor sits on the throttle body. Now the other wire we have to extend is the idle air control valve, and the TPS and idle air control valve is literally right next to each other. So we got to get this wire right here, black yellow and blue yellow. We have to get this plug to go up kind of with the TPS sensor, probably about right here, you know, coming out about the same length. So it seems that if I pull it back, the black should be enough, but I need to extend the blue. So I'm going to go ahead and get these 2 guys routed into their new home locations, and then we'll move forward. Iat and TPS sensor routed into their new home locations. They are taped together so that way they're not fraying all over the place. So now that we're at the TPS section, On the right up, you have to swap the outside wires, the yellow and green flip-flop. So instead of being yellow, red, green, it's going to be green, red, yellow. Now the SI harness that I have down here, you can see it has the yellow on the right side. The green is gone, but red is in the middle, yellow on the right side, yellow's on the left. So in 3, 2, 1, boom, done. So this is ready to rock and roll. Now we got to move this 2 injector wires through the harness, and I'm actually going to be taking all of this guy off right now just to make it easier to hold the wires in place with tape. And we're going to run these 2 to the plug, and then we also got to run the 2 blue all the way up into the distributor point. So what I've already done is I loomed the driver's side, the injector, all the way through up into the distributor plugs, which I'm going to pin in right now. Normally when you get a donor harness, you would see the color in front of you, or you cut the entire plug and solder them in hardwired 1 by 1 color matched. But because I am using this from my good harness, I depinned it from there. So all I'm going to do is I'm repinning it back based off of a diagram, but I actually took pictures of the plug. So I'm going to pin that in with the 2 extra crank wires that now are integrated into the dual point harness, and we'll button that up. The coil and RPM, I believe this is RPM plug, stays the same circular one right here. You don't got to worry about that. So once I get this all wired up, I'm just going to loom it all back up and make the other end of the sub harness, which is this guy, and the square plug that was on a dual point distributor is actually the other end that I need for that plug, right? Which is actually the same as the resistor plug right there. Now I got a bunch of them lying around, so hopefully I can find one with pins. If not, I have pins to crimp them brand new. Yeah, but yeah, these are just like harnesses over the years that I just collect plugs and stuff in case I need them, but I'll find it in a minute. It is 12:18 right now, and I just finished the harness like 10 minutes ago, and I cleaned everything up. Everything is loomed up. This is the driver's side, got the resistor plug in place. I kind of stuck the little bracket in place too, just in case they want to mount it back in the stock spot. We got the injectors all ran into their new home locations. I got to get this clip off the other one over there. Iat sensor going down here under the intake manifold. We have fan switch, oil pressure sensor, alternator, TPS, IAC going across the intake manifold. Coming up the thermostat, we have our ground coming up to our new distributor plug for the multi-point distributor. This has the new crank wires in it, blue, yellow, and blue, green, and then these were untouched. Now going all the way up to the passenger side, we have this plug right here for quick disconnect. We got the 2 new wires for the injectors and the 2 crank wires right there. This is disconnectable, is that even a word? I don't know, but this is long enough to go inside the car for the ECU, and the 2 injectors we got right here is for the A3, A7, and then there's a process where you got to move C1 and C2 over to B10 and B12, and then these are the new wires that's going to be going into C1 and C2. So inside the car, it's just 4 wires, well 6 in total, but the harness is ready. I mean, it's almost ready, 99% ready to go. Other than this guy I'll take care of tomorrow. But it's just a really short video, guys. Hopefully it's a short video because it seems like I've been talking forever. Now, like I said, I just wanted to be out of my room to be back in the garage, my natural habitat, and just wanted to just stay moving around, you know what I mean? Stay working, keep my mind running instead of slouching in my room all day. But hopefully we can get down with all the turbo kit stuff. I'm probably going to give it a few more days of healing. I can't guarantee myself a few more days. I keep saying a few more days because I'm just so eager to be back in the garage. But however long I need to get my ankles to be good and dandy to move around without you know, my weight pressuring my ankle and hurting. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video, guys. Before we close it out though, I got these packages right here that came in last week, but ready to open them up now and show you guys what's inside. This one right here, guys, Red Zone Hawaii. This came out from the crew in Hawaii, and it is actually a t-shirt I ordered. Nicely packaged with a cardboard. I don't know if anything's in it though, but oh snap, never mind, never freaking mind. That is so awesome. We got a Red Zone Hawaii sticker. You guys already know Red Zone is the fam out in Hawaii. Red Zone is also the fam out here in Antioch, and I support Red Zone because they are great friends of mine, and they are great tuners. So we got this with, what is this? Ah, this is too legit. This is freaking awesome. We have a backward Red Zone. Well, I'm not going to peel it off just yet, but we have a Red Zone little key tag, a sticker, and we have a Red Zone Hawaii t-shirt. Support those who support you, and Red Zone always have my back like I got theirs. This other package right here, I bought this numerous of times now, and I've only used one. What's funny is this thing's got a scent to it. Huh. It's got some air fresheners in here. That's freaking awesome. Guys, a lot of you have been asking, and the videos that I show this product, his link is always in the description below. If you guys are looking for the Bluetooth modules, this is the guy to hit up on Instagram. So this right here is a Bluetooth module. You guys have seen it plenty of times before on the channel, and the difference with this one is this is a 4-channel. The one that I have in the CRX is a 2-channel. The car only has 2 speakers anyways, but this one is for the wagon because the wagon actually has 4 speakers. Shout out to Adrian, thank you for the pre-orders on these, and when I get back to working on the wagon soon, we'll definitely install this as well. I have yet to work on the car. My brand new K Pro is still sitting right there. Need to register it, need to upload a map, and then the wagon should be on the road real soon. Again, if you guys want the Bluetooth module, 4 or 2-way, be sure to check the link in the description below and get on that pre-order list because that thing fills it really fast. And anybody out here that are tuned by Red Zone and y'all want to support your tuner, be sure to check the link in the description below as well too. Cop a t-shirt, a sticker, a ECU cover, something to support your locals. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little one, and I promise you guys we'll be back in the garage here soon, and the projects are going to kick off. Be sure to hit the like button, and with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.